Good morning, a very warm welcome and servus to the very first Munich Security Token Conference here in the capital of Bavaria. If you are a defense minister, a secret agent or a military attaché, your conference takes place next year, right? This is the Munich Security Conference. Here we are at the Munich Security Token Conference. The World Economic Forum forecasts that blockchain-related services will account for about 10% of the global GDP by 2027. That's just 5 years from now. Cryptocurrencies have found their ways into the portfolios of most investors, and tokenized securities, what we're talking about today, are growing dramatically in popularity. So I'm very thankful to Manta Capital Partners, the Austrian Blockchain Center, and all the sponsors you see there to your left for offering us this fantastic platform to come together, because there is still a lot to be learned, understood, and discussed. CoinCup, which most of you will probably know, named Germany as the most crypto-friendly nation on the planet. It's very rare that Germany is really number one these days in any aspect, but in the crypto space, apparently we are. And Germany ranks high among European nations for blockchain adoption. And with a thriving startup scene, high density of investors, and strong research capabilities, the city of Munich is obviously the perfect place together. My name is David Grammig. I'm going to guide you through this conference and through the day. And it is now my pleasure to hand over to Christian Platzer, the co-founder of Manta Capital and the organizer of the Munich Security Token Conference. Enjoy.
Good morning. Thank you, David. Servus München. Ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome in the capital of my Bavarian homeland. It's great to be here in person. It feels a little bit unreal because we've been talking about this conference since September last year, when we were in, Alex and I, my co-founder, we were in Austin, Texas at a real estate tokenization conference. We were the only European guests. We needed a national interest exemption from the US government to enter the US, and Alex convinced the Vienna embassy that it's in the national interest of the US that we speak about tokenization in Austin. And there we thought, okay, there are many blockchain conferences and crypto conferences, but there are very few who really focus on the regulated part of the business, on security tokens. And we have a wide field when we talk about blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin, NFTs, and so forth. And what we do as a business, we wanted to narrow down the topic and do some kind of educational work. And now I'm going into what basically led up to what we are doing today and what we are trying to do today. I try to be very brief. We have an excellent first panel with 4 well-known professors. 2 of them came a little bit late, CT, so we started 5 minutes later. But what is the idea today? I think Alex and I, we started a couple years ago when COVID hit to do some educational work in webinars. Like everyone, we've been the first who came up with the model mstc.live at the time and did a lot of online work there. And then at some point I met Professor Alfred Taudes from the Vienna Business University. He heads the Austrian Blockchain Center, and he had many great ideas. And the first great idea a professor has, and you could finance one of our PhDs, right? So that's what we did, and that's Moritz Schuh, who worked a lot over the last year with me to make this conference happen, content-wise. And that's basically the partnership between Austrian Blockchain Center and us to create some knowledge and to do some educational work. The second part after BMCP Live was then that Moritz and our team, we created a database of about 400 companies globally that deal with tokenization somewhat in the regulated space. And out of these 400 now, for the second time in a row, we published the Tokenization 50. the 50 leading firms in the space as we see it or as we could find out about them. And some of them are here today, and many will join online as we stream the conference around the world. So for those who didn't make it, who are somewhere in a hotel in Singapore and watching us now because they have COVID, a shout out to them for our online people who join us through the various channels. The last or the main thing I want to focus before I hand back to David and then to the panel is to give you a little bit of an idea what we are doing today so you can put that in a context. We've sliced up a huge topic into 4 sessions, 4 packages of content, and those are, we start with the first panel and the scientific perspective. We have, I'd say, the leading academic minds in Germany and Austria on the topic, discussing the scientific perspective in a way that you as an audience have somewhat the bigger landscape of what we are doing today. Blockchain, crypto, tokenized, digitalized securities, digital assets, NFTs, and so forth. So we try to create a landscape, a map in the first session. And the second session, the regulatory panel, then narrows down the subject matter to the legislative perspective, the compliance perspective, in a way, what is possible today, what has been done, what could be done, where do we need regulation, what about MiCA and so forth, we just heard this week. That's the morning. We have a coffee break in between. There is lovely catering throughout the day. We'll hope to make you very comfortable throughout the whole day. After the lunch break, we have 3 more or less practical sessions. In the very first one, we narrow down the question to what is an STO? What is a security token offering? How does that work? What are the different roles and market players that are needed as an ecosystem to make a security token happen in the regulated financial markets? The second panel of the afternoon will be then about what do we put into the token? What are the underlying assets? What makes sense to tokenize? Because you all will have heard of the talk of the tokenization of everything and so forth. So we'll try to narrow down and find out in the afternoon what makes really sense. Because, well, we as a regulated firm, Alex and I, we believe we get many requests and some make sense. And this afternoon, we try to find out a little bit more what makes sense and what we want to do also more as a company in the future. I forgot that in between we have great keynotes, so a session is usually can be set up of a keynote in advance and then the panel discussion. The very last session before we have drinks in the evening, just outside the door, we call it the innovation panel, and that's probably the most complex of the day because we have a handful of different perspectives there. We have a experienced senior banker, we have someone from DeFi, we have a chap from Ireland who does basically everything in blockchain and digitalized assets, and we have Connor, exactly, sorry. The number 4, where is Connor? We have basically one of the first venture capitalists who got his fund tokenized, and they are also investor in Manta, and we've been working with them for a while, and Connor's seen a lot. Connor very thankfully joined in again to somebody else who's stuck with COVID, not with COVID himself, but his son. So a shout out also to him, and everybody who couldn't join today because of COVID may get well soon. I'm ending and we get to the more interesting part when I finish. I'm ending with 2 thank yous. First, a big thanks to our small teams at the Austrian Blockchain Center and at Black Manta Capital Partners. So that's doing conferences, not what we do as a daily business, and it's the first one. So also everything might not be perfect, so excuse that. We are probably more annoyed than you about the things that are not perfect, but this is not going to be a one-off, so we're going to do this for the next 20 years. So I guess we're getting better year by year. Let's hope so. So thank you to all my team, especially thank you to my co-founder, Alex. I've had to be away a couple of weeks for medical leave in summer, and he stepped up and did a lot of work to make this happen, as did Moritz Schuh, who worked on this, and Christian from marketing, and all the others who are here today. Thank you very much to those who made that happen, especially to our sponsors. You can see here on the right side who've been supporting us from day one with Conference One, and you'll hear a lot more about them. They'll be on the panels or doing keynotes throughout the day, and you will learn more about them, and you can approach them outside. As I have a little bit of time left, which is probably not interesting for the online audience, but for you from the logistics. So in terms of lunch, we'll be eating outside and in the reception area. And if you need a little bit of quiet time or do a phone call or have a one-on-one meeting, so just behind the reception, there is also a lounge where you can sit down and have a quiet chat. So we try to keep the noise outside in the first outside area as little as possible. So we have good acoustics here, and the people who join us from all over the world have good audio and good view on what's happening here today. That's about from my side. Thank you very much. It's lovely that you're all here. Thanks for joining us and coming to Munich. And yeah, in Oktoberfest it says, auf eine friedliche Wiesn, and in this case, let's have a happy conference.